Hello, my friends, and welcome back to another tier list stream. I'm your host, Matches Peaches, and as always, I've got a nice little margarita here. So cheers, happy Saturday to everybody who's there. What's going on, Justin, Gerhard, Federico, and of course, Tended Winner. You think Goku should be A tier? That's debatable. Yes, today, we were going to do a stream yesterday for the Sandland Kuji, but I don't think a lot of people were interested in that, to be honest, so we canceled it. Instead, we all hung out on Discord instead. So today, though, I know this would probably be a little more interesting just because I know Dragon Ball is kind of the bigger focus of the channel. So, yeah, I think people would find this just slightly more interesting than some of the other tier lists I would have done. Just as a reminder, we are doing a tier list for Grandista tomorrow. Grandista Resolution of Soldiers, specifically, because the new Grandista series is not Resolution of Soldiers. But today, we are going to do a tier list of every single FES Goku shirt. What's on my shirt? It is DBS Broly. It is kind of, it's like hot. It's 80 degrees here in Texas, but it's also windy. So like when you go outside, it's like not super hot, but whatever. Hopefully the audio sounds good. I might back this up because it looks like I'm a little hot on the mic. So this kind of works out a little bit. Picks up my voice just fine. All right. Looks like Broly. It is Broly. But yeah, the Son Goku FES series. Before we get into each individual figure, maybe I can start with kind of like my overall thoughts of this Crane series. I went into it like really hoping and expecting it to be like one of the best Crane series they've ever done. And frankly, I think that is still the case. I do think the Son Goku FES series of figures are probably one of the best Dragon Ball Crane series that they've ever done. Hello, Ranger. Ranger says, hello, everybody. He wants to be part of the stream, apparently. But on the other side of that, I did notice towards the like later releases that I don't know, it was kind of a mixed bag with some of them. Like some of them were not as good as I expected. A lot of them had issues just like staying on their base. Like the pegs were not like very well done. Like there was definitely some architectural issues there that were not as thought out. Save the Unknown. I'm your daddy. That's who I am. But yeah, there are some really awesome figures in here, but there are some that are not so good. So with that being said, I think the Son Goku FES series of Crane figures, I would probably put it in like, I'd probably put the series in A tier. I think it's really good, but I think a lot of them have like structural / architectural issues, however you want to put that. And there are some kind of stinkers in here. There's not a lot of stinkers, but there are a couple notable stinkers. So with all that out of the way, let's begin. We'll just go in order here. I'm pretty sure every single one of them is on this list. So some of them you can't really tell which version it is, like if it's the special edition or if it's a different one. So I'll try my best to figure out which is which. Like the Super Saiyan 3 Gokus, like look at them. I think this is the special edition, and then this is like the manga, and then this is the anime. So, all right. Let us begin with Vegito. Why don't we just start with Vegito? We'll do both of them. Super Saiyan Vegito. Really cool figure. I think the sculpt is really well done. He's got shading, which is great. You know, this is back when a lot of Crane figures were getting shading. Not a big fan of like glossy hair finishes on my Super Saiyan figures. I don't hate it, but most of the time it just looks a little like tacky and cheap. So there's that. And his face is definitely kind of weird. It's not awful, but it's weird. The color differences between both figures is also very minimal. I think they're pretty much the same. They really only change the hair color, and that's it. Like, there's no other differences outside of that. So, Vegito is cool, but he's really not as good as some of the other ones. So I'd probably put both of them in kind of in mid tier, B tier. They're good, but I think in the context of all the FES figures, they're really not the best. Also, their pose, they're like copying the Super Saiyan Goku, which is just kind of weird. The first one, this one right here. So those are my thoughts on him. Is the music too loud? I'm gonna turn this down. Music looks way too loud. Dokkan music is always so freaking loud, dude. There. That should be fine now. You're going to say B? Yeah, they're B. And I think if I had to choose one over the other, I think I like Super Vegito more than Vegito Blue, just because of the contrast in colors, the yellow against the mostly blue on his gi. It's a little more interesting than just blue, 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 like too much blue for his design. That's more of like a design thing. So, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Okay. So this first one, this is the second one that they did, which I called the saturated version. And then this was the first one that they did, which I called the muted one. Very hyperactive music for a game about moving PNGs. Yeah. Agreed. Dokkan has great music, though. So Gogeta 4. So Gogeta 4 was probably one of the first ones that I opened up that I was like, there's some issues with like the whole base and everything. Like the saturated version that I had didn't even fully stick onto his base. And I felt like when I removed him from it, it was like very close to just breaking the pegs on his feet off. So that kind of sucks. It didn't, but it felt like that. The saturated version, he's like looking in a new direction. And his eyes and his face look worse than the original. And the original already had kind of like a meh-looking face. The saturated version has zero shading at all. The muted version has minimal shading at the very least. So like the saturated version is just kind of like an overall downgrade, and it's D tier. Whereas the muted version... he's kind of like mid. He's B tier. He's like he's cool. I like the pose. It's very Gogeta. Like he's kind of flying back or leaning back while like flexing. Like very cool, direction for Gogeta. But the execution is like, not that great. Like I prefer, a lot of other figures in here than him. The sculpt is very nice though. Like the sculpt is really nice. But like when you look at even this picture here, like his production image versus the final product that you get, it's not that great. So yeah, it's just my thoughts on Gogeta 4. Like I was actually really excited for Gogeta 4. I thought he was going to be like one of my favorite ones, and he ended up being one of my least favorites. Kid Goku, the second Kid Goku, because there's one before this. So let's actually talk about that. As a character choice, which also with these last two, like they're not Goku. This is a Crane figure series about Goku, and Bandai's like, all right, we'll throw in Vegito and Gogeta because money. But it's like, that's not as interesting, man. Like I know they're part Goku, but there's so many different like forms and iterations of Goku using different forms or attacks or something that they could have done. That is Goku. It's Goku. He's the main character. He's in so much of the show. So it's just kind of lazy for them to be like, yeah, but Gogeta. Like, I guess that's kind of interesting because he's technically Goku, but not as interesting. But Kid Goku, this was our second Kid Goku figure. I do like how different it is to the first one, but it is less interesting just to kind of get like the same character pretty much. As another figure in the FES line. But either way, I do really like this guy. He is definitely the biggest example, though, of this entire Crane series using so many figures with humongous bases. Like, a lot of the figures in this series have huge bases, like really huge bases. It's kind of ridiculous. Should have done a 59 jacket and yard track Goku. Good point. Yeah, see, those are right there, easy gets that they could have done. They could have done Angel Goku. They could have done Super Saiyan 2 Goku. There's no Super Saiyan 2 Goku in here. So many different things. They could have done a lot of different things. They could have done multiple iterations of GT Goku. Like, yeah, very lazy. DBS Goku, like, yeah. Anyways, yeah, these two have some of the biggest bases in this whole series, and it's even more apparent because, like, the Blue Gi Goku came out first, and his base was huge, like, comically huge. And then the Orange Gi one came out, and they pulled it back. They're like, oh, yeah, you're right, it is too big, and they made it smaller. So it's just like, Bandai, what the heck? It really makes me wonder, like, how rushed was the FES series? Was it rushed? It might have been. But, yeah, Kid Goku, I do think he's very charming, though. Like, the sculpt, his likeness, both of them have shading. I think that the Orange Gi is technically the more accurate figure because the original manga panel that he's based on, he is in an Orange Gi. However, the Blue Gi is the one that shows up in the anime. So for me, that's the one that I recognize more. But I get it. Like, hey, it's mostly based off the manga. But I prefer, personally, the Blue Gi. Really, the worst part about this figure is it's this tiny little guy on this huge base and a huge support that flies into the sky. And for those that, like, I think I got some comments recently saying, like, what's wrong with bases? And I'm like, okay, I say it in a lot of my reviews. They're big. They take up a lot of space that's unnecessary. Like, if you look at the character versus the area that the base takes up, it's too much. And they are dust magnets. Like, dust just glues onto these bases, and it makes it look ugly and dirty on your display. So that's why I don't like it. Like, it's easier for you to, like, get away with not dusting your Masterlies figures for a while, because it doesn't really show up as prominently as, like, it's on your black base. So yeah. But all that being said, I think these are pretty good. I think they're pretty nice figures. They're probably A tier. They're better than a lot of the others in the FES series. But not quite perfect. Really, that base is what holds it back. Like, you can't really ignore the base. All right. The second Super Saiyan Goku from Namek. I think this is the manga and this is the anime. I'm not even gonna wait. They're the best ones. This Super Saiyan Goku is phenomenal. Like, his sculpt, his likeness, everything about this figure is freaking awesome. I think really the only thing that would have made him even better is if they did a matte finish for his hair and did, like, shading. Because it is kind of just a glossy yellow. But I don't really mind all that much. I still think it's, like, really nice. But the sculpt is just so awesome. It's so good. He just looks fantastic. I did get a lot of comments saying that over time, because of his weight, because he's a pretty, like, hefty figure for a crane, his weight might make him break off of his stand, which, again, still kind of proves my point about a lot of these figures were not, like, thought out well enough to be put on their bases. So that's a big problem in FES, but I have yet to experience that. So as of right now, he's amazing. I don't really have an issue. Like, I know he's on a base, but I'm frankly willing to overlook that little thing just because of how great he is. Like, the shading on the figure, the sculpt on the figure, everything about the figure is super cool. So I'm a big fan of this Goku figure. It's one of my favorite Goku figures, frankly. Like, I think it's very, very well done. So definitely the best one in the entire set. Yeah. Gogeta. So originally, what I was planning on doing with a lot of Crane figures was I was going to keep, like, 4 figures per series just so that I had some variety for comparisons. But frankly, I'm starting to change a lot of my collecting habits and how what I choose to review on the channel, just because, like, my time is precious, and I don't want to review everything just for the sake of reviewing and collecting everything. So I'm trying to just collect and review things that I'm interested in. But originally, I was going to keep these Gogetas, at least the Fusion Reborn Gogeta, because I thought they were really impressive. I think they are really good. I think they're some of the best, which is funny because, like I said, this is a Goku series of figures, and they technically aren't Goku. It's Gogeta, but like, I think this Fusion Reborn Gogeta was also coming at a time where like all the figures for Gogeta that we were getting were from DBS, and it was just kind of nice to see a Fusion Reborn Gogeta for once, and he looks really good. They're both essentially the same, but the Fusion Reborn one just pops so much better. Like, his eyes are like kind of that greenish blue color instead of just the pure blue, so it pops really nice. His skin is like a little tanner than the DBS Gogeta. He's just so awesome. The sculpt is really nice. The paint and shading all across this figure is really nice. Yes, every figure on this list is on a base. It's fine. But yeah. Reviewing Goku figures sculpted by a Goku specialist. Yes. Hiroyuki Nakazawa is amazing at sculpting Goku, for sure. Yeah, he did a really good job on these Gogetas. I think he did a phenomenal job. I still like the Super Saiyan Goku a lot more, frankly, just because his detail is great. But these are definitely S tier. They deserve to be here. All right. Saiyan Arc Goku. So this is the anime, and then this is the manga version. These are really cool, and I even saw a lot of comments saying like this is their favorite FES Goku figure. I like him a lot. He's probably not my favorite for sure, but I think both are really good. One thing that was kind of weird was that I felt like the differences between the anime and manga versions were very minimal. I also feel like him with slightly different facial features, like one is looking up and one's looking straight out, was just kind of an odd choice. But whatever. But yeah, he's in a really cool pose. It's really nice. It's iconic, right? Him being in the battle pose. I'm dying for them to do a master release of this. I even, like, once upon a time when I had the anime version a long time ago before I did the review of him, I put his base in the box and I just had him lean on like another character for my Saiyan Arc shelf just because I wanted to use him so badly. So I obviously respect the sculpt quite a bit. I think it's really good. Yeah, the hair is really cool. It's very accurate to the manga. I think these guys are easily S tier. They're both about the same. There's really no difference between both. I'm always gonna like love manga referenced characters and designs, so I guess I would put the manga version slightly above the anime version. But yeah, they're great sculpts. If you want to lean it on another figure, you don't have to use the big base. But yeah, I think they're freaking awesome. Super Saiyan 4 Goku. So this was the second one that they did. So obviously right off the bat, it's like, why do another one? It's a very confusing figure too. He's like doing a Big Bang Kamehameha pretty much. Like, he looks like Gogeta. Like, if you look at his sculpt and everything about it, it's like, this is Gogeta. This is not Goku. You mainly like this Goku because he has the King Kai kanji, your favorite gi variation? Yeah. Yeah. We don't have a master release yet of the King Kai gi. Do we? No, we don't. We don't yet. Nope. Isn't that crazy? But yeah, I feel like there's a lot of problems with this Goku. Number one, he looks too much like Gogeta. He's like doing kind of like a Big Bang Kamehameha instead of like something Super Saiyan 4 Goku would do. I just noticed that none of these Gokus are like launching a Kamehameha. Like Super Saiyan 3 is charging one, but like none of them are launching a Kamehameha. What an easy thing that Bandai could have done. Like, what the hell? That could have been him. Kamehameha times 10. But Yeah, you can't really like see his face past his hands, and when you look at his face past his hands, it's not that good. It's not horrible, but it's just not that good. Um, and if I remember correctly, he doesn't really have any shading. I could be wrong because I reviewed him like last year. They keep making him shirtless, and in Kaioken times 3, yeah, they did that once. The Saiyan arc Gokus that we got are like from early Saiyan arc before he even meets King Kai. But yeah, this whole thing, he's just kind of weird, man. He's not terrible, but he's just like not great. And there's already another Super Saiyan 4 in this series that's better. So he's kind of just pointless. He was one of the last ones they did, so it just really felt like they were out of ideas, which is weird. Like, there's so much for them to do, but they did that instead. And it almost feels like they were going to do Gogeta again and then just changed him to Super Saiyan 4 Goku at the last second. Super Saiyan GT Goku. Funny because like I reviewed these two back to back last year. So again, I wasn't all that impressed with him. He's obviously smaller, which is fine because he's a kid. His face was kind of weird. Like his mouth was like just strangely shaped, and his face just kind of had like the direction it was looking in and how his eyes were positioned looked a little off. You know, not a ton of detail from a shading perspective on him either. Like there's minimal shading done to him. You know, the sculpt was fine, but I just don't think he hit all that hard. He's pretty forgettable. I guess if you like GT Goku and you wanted something to pair with the Super Saiyan 3, he's cool. But otherwise, yeah, he's whatever. He's not like terrible, but just kind of mid. He's like, whatever. Kind of forgettable. Super Saiyan Goku, the first one. So this is kind of how FES started, I believe. So you have the anime, you have the manga, and you have the bronze version. So really cool figure. The sculpt is really nice. The differences between all three are very noticeable. Like the hair color between the anime and manga are really different. Like the manga would be my favorite version just because the colors are so nice. Like that yellowish orange for Goku's gi and the very bright blue for his shirt and his boots is so good. But I don't like how muted his hair is. I would have preferred this hair on this figure, and then he would have easily been the best. I still think he's my favorite, though, of the three. But the other two are really cool. Obviously, the anime version is, you know, if you just prefer the anime colors, like, that's where it kind of sticks out. But, and he has a better hair color of the manga version. But the bronze version is really unique because that is where the whole, you know, the reference for the whole figure is from. I think in my review I said it was a Nakatsuru illustration, but I think it actually was Toriyama who drew this. Which is funny because like Toriyama would even confuse Nakatsuru's work with his own. So like that just shows how good, you know, Nakatsuru is. But yeah, these are great. I think they're very good figures. I don't think they're quite S tier, but they are really good. And the bronze version is really unique, so I'd probably put it ahead of the Kid Gokus as well. And that is the source for the whole thing. If you look it up, he is this color in the reference. All right. Super Saiyan Blue, dude. Awesome figure. Awesome figure. I think this was a lot of people's first FES figure. It might have been mine. I don't remember. It was either him or the Kaioken that I got first. But, like, the blue Kaioken is obviously the best one of the three, right? Because how many blue Kaioken figures are there? Which is baffling, because blue Kaioken is one of the coolest parts of DBS. Like, whenever Goku uses Kaioken blue, everyone, like, loses their mind. Everyone's like, oh, it's amazing. So So he's obviously really cool. The Kaioken shading on any Goku figure is always super cool. So it's always appreciated. The pose is really dynamic too. He's like throwing a kick. He's in the Whis gi, which is also really cool. We don't get a lot of Goku figures in the Whis gi. It's something that a lot of people are still asking for. So hopefully one day Bandai acknowledges that and starts giving us that. We're getting it in Blood of Saiyan, so don't lose hope. But yeah, just a very cool figure. The one figure of the three that I think is kind of weird is the anime or the special edition, which I think is this one. One of them, his colors just didn't really pop. I think he just had a darker colored gi, so I think it is this one. And that was really it. Like, they didn't do a whole lot different with him. His gi is just a slightly different color, and maybe they added extra shading on his skin. Just kind of whatever. But I do think the Blue Kaioken is like S tier. The other two though, yeah, I would still put them up there. They're just the last two are just kind of interchangeable, but the Blue Kaioken is head and shoulders above them. In fact, I think I would put the Blue Kaioken like here. Yeah. So, very cool. A lot of these are just going to be grouped together for the most part, unless there's like something very irregular between two versions. Base Goku. Base Goku's really good. He also stands without his base, so he's got like kind of a cool little feature there. You can get rid of that giant base and just stand him on his own. So that's really cool. The shading obviously is amazing. Anytime you put Kaioken paint and shading and you do it right, it makes your figure pop so much more. But the colors on the base form are still really good. Like, I wouldn't sleep on it. It's still really, really great. I respect it a lot. Nakatsuru. Sorry. What's his name? The sculptor. Nakazawa. Nakazawa is really good at making Goku's face, and it's shown here. Like, there's so much detail, like battle damage and scuffs and stuff all along the figure, which is really cool to see. But like, the Kaioken is just obviously the better version, right? So it's easily S tier. I think the blue probably is a little bit better just because it's a bit more unique. Plus, he was the first base Goku figure, so I would be inclined to put him before the Saiyan Arc version. And I kind of just like his depiction a little bit more, and just the variety of ways that you can display him. So yeah, that's my reasoning for him in S tier. Super Saiyan 3. So y'all know I'm a big fan of Super Saiyan 3. It's my favorite form. It's a freaking awesome. And these figures definitely delivered. There's a very similar issue here with the 3 that I have. Like the Super Saiyan Goku. These. Where the anime version has the best looking hair. But the manga version, actually, I didn't really like the manga version's gi. I'm remembering it now. Like, his blue is almost like a black for his shirt. And the special edition, I don't like. Like, they made his gi like a little darker than the regular anime version. He has basically the same hair as the regular anime version. And then they gave him like a ton of shading for his skin, like to the point where he looks a little sunburnt, and I don't really love that. But they're all essentially the same, and they're all really damn good. And frankly, my bias might be shown here, but they're really good. I would put them all in S tier and put them right up there with Blue Goku. But yeah, that sculpt for that hair dude, with it swirling around him and his musculature and the everything about it, it's so cool. He's charging a Kamehameha, which is great. I love it. Kid Goku, the first one. I think I like this one more than the second one that they did. I think his face is really nice. I love those like really rounded features. It looks very similar to the source material that it's based on. It's super dynamic because he's flying forward and attacking. The original source, he's in this green gi, which I'll admit is a very unique look for Goku. The shading and everything seems a little more prominent on the orange gi Goku. And personally, I think the saturated and brighter colors of the orange gi Goku pop a bit more than these like more muted and darker colors that of the I guess the source version. So yeah, and I obviously this is way better than like that orange gi. So I don't know if they're quite S tier, but I definitely think that they're better than the other Kid Goku. I did experience kind of like that weird, hey, I think it was the green one where he wasn't sticking on his base that well. So I was kind of worried like, hey, this could break off like easily. So be aware of that. That's with a lot of these, to be honest. So Goku Black. So I think this is the regular version. This is the second one. And then this is the special version. Really cool, right? I think that this is a character that is technically not Goku, but he is Goku. And he's very deserving to be here. His name is Goku, so counts. Very, like, they understand the character and his personality. So him flying forward, about to do, like, a chopping attack. Very, very reminiscent of the character himself. The colors are great. They're very accurate. The sinister expression that he has on his face is very good and very accurate. He's just great. I think the original has a matte finish. Yeah, the original has a matte finish for his hair. And then the special version has a glossy finish for his hair. And then they give him that same like weird spray tan that they do with a lot of the special editions. So frankly, I think the special edition is a huge downgrade from the original. And just like the variety in the base form is nice. So I think they're really great. Where would I rank them though? Oh man. I think they're a little bit better than this Goku, but like this version, I don't like it that much. He's good. Excuse me. He's good, but I feel like his paint like really pulls him back. Like he's definitely great, but the paint on the special version is just not as good as the original. Matte painting always makes a figure look and feel more premium than glossy paint. It's just a fact. Like no one really wants a figure with glossy hair for the most part. All right. Super Saiyan 4. I gotta say, these kind of disappointed me. This was another case where I was expecting something amazing, and they're not bad, but they definitely disappointed me. Especially the special version. Especially the special. The special version disappointed me, and it was mostly because of his eyes. Like his eyes are like a brownish, like they're metallic, so it makes the yellow of Goku's eyes look brown. And I'm like, wow, that really takes away from the figure. Like just a big fat L from Bandai in painting it. But the red of his fur is like back how the anime was going to depict it, but because of Toei's big like filter on everything, he looks pink. So technically this is more accurate, but the special version has the original intended colors for Super Saiyan 4 Goku. The pose is cool. The texturing of his fur is great. The sculpt and everything about it is fantastic. He's not stable on that base, man. Like he does not fit snugly in those supports. So I know over time with like, you know, the environment that it's in and just kind of just weighing down on the plastic, over time he's going to break off and fall, which is so disappointing. I could tell, like when I set him up, I'm like, yeah, this thing's not going to last for a very long time. Maybe a few years, but after that he's going to break off. So that was a little disappointing. And then yeah, the special edition should have had more accurate colors for the eyes. Like the metallic idea is cool, but the execution was pretty poor. But I would probably put him like in A tier. But I would put him here just because, like, the special version, his eyes are just so weird. It's so weird. And it's really distracting. All right. We're almost there. 3 left. Next up, UI Goku. UI Goku, very cool. I do think the sign version is better, and that might be a little biased for me, but they're essentially the same. Most people are probably going to pick UI sign. So Mastered UI is very cool. He's got a great sculpt. Musculature is amazing. He's got battle scuffs all over him. Paint and shaded all over the place. Great figure. But he looks a little plain next to the UI sign version. Just because the UI sign version has a little bit more going on. So he's got his shirt on, so there's shading there. And the blues just kind of pop. Obviously, having like a glossier black hair finish is very unique for Goku. So anytime they do UI sign, they usually do that. And it always looks very cool. The pose is super dynamic with him flying forward. You would expect that with all I've been saying about the structural issues with a lot of these figures, that him sticking into his peg probably wouldn't be that good. But these two are the exception. They fit snugly, along with this God Goku, by the way. They fit snugly on their bases, so there's no real worry of them wearing and tearing over time. But yeah, super iconic. The only UI Goku we got in this whole thing, which is kind of surprising just because they were pushing UI Goku super hard during this time. I think they're fantastic. They're not my favorites, but they're definitely S tier. They're some of the best ones that they did in this whole series, for sure. Same goes for Super Saiyan God, which I think I would put right here. Fantastic figure. Fits on his base snugly. Absolutely no problems with that. The likeness is fantastic. The reference that they're taking is so cool because it's just such a small moment of him about to punch Beerus. So I'm just like, wow, what a nice little frame, pretty much, that you base this off of. Like, very cool. His hair being blown back is very cool. His hair is also matte finished, which is very unique. Like, you would expect, like, the matchmakers that's coming out, that they would do, like, oh, a metallic hair finish. Nope, they did a matte hair finish for Super Saiyan God, which is very nice. Makes it look a little more premium. The paint and shading all over his clothes and his skin, very nice. Like, Hiroyuki Nakazawa did a great job in making this Goku. Like, it looks like pretty much every DBS Goku figure that he did was S tier, like really, really good. So, and they're rare characters. Like, we barely got any Super Saiyan God figures. So, he's definitely one of the better ones. He's definitely the best Crane Super Saiyan God figure that I can think of. Maybe better than the Maximatic. But yeah, he's awesome. Absolutely love it. Super Saiyan 3 GT Goku. Really like this one too, but he's got some problems. Where would I put him? Probably put him like right here. He's really good. A lot of people are saying he's better than the Masterlies. Like, okay, fair if you think that way. I do have issues with him though. Like, the inside of his mouth is like gray. Like, the coloring for his tongue and everything almost looks like sickly. His face is good, but like his eyes, he's like looking in an odd direction, so it kind of just looks like he's like stupid. He just looks like dumb. His hair is amazing, absolutely amazing, just wild and flowing everywhere. Lots of shading all over it. Another thing I noticed is he is off balance on his base, so like he kind of tilts. So that's disappointing. And the base is big. Yeah, that is another issue with him, obviously. But that's pretty much with all of them. But I do really like him. I think he's fantastic. We don't get a lot of GT Goku figures. I love Super Saiyan 3 GT Goku. Just because it's so unique seeing it on a kid. So I'm really excited for like Daima figures of SSJ3 Goku Mini. But yeah, I think he looks great. But I think this is the list. I feel really good about this list. Let me just take a look at it. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. Really, the only bad figures are these two down here. Like, I would not buy these at all. These four, maybe buy them at a discount, you know, and then A prize, I would buy them at, you know, full price, which is $20. And then S tier, like, if you have to pay like a little over 20 bucks or whatever, like, they're worth it. But yeah, I really do like the FES Goku series. I kept my manga version Super Saiyan Goku from Namek. That is the one that I'm keeping in my own personal collection. Everything else I've already sold off. But I think it was really fun revisiting these and experiencing some of them for the very first time in person. I still do think, obviously, most of these figures are in S and A tier. So I do think they are worth collecting. So if you liked what you saw in the reviews, if you liked what you heard in this live stream, then yeah, definitely go pick them up. They're a ton of fun. But yeah, I think that's really all I got for you guys. Doesn't really seem like I had a lot of pushback in chat. So yeah, that is it. But again, tomorrow we are going to be doing Grandista, Resolution of Soldiers. So we will be doing the original Grandista series now that I've reviewed all of them. I am working on a Manga Dimensions review video for all of the Manga Dimensions figures because I have all of them now. So that's coming. But I figured we can at least talk about them and rank them since they're just pretty much what I've already reviewed, but Manga Dimensions. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, then please leave a like, share this with a friend, subscribe to the channel if you just popped in here for whatever reason. But yeah, tonight on the Discord server, we are watching more Dragon Ball GT. We are watching some One Piece, and we're watching Solo Leveling. But until the next video, guys, I will see you all later.